Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's November 4th, 2024. Great to be with all of you. I'm here with my assistant. You're seeing his little backside over here. Tony's here. He's ready to go out for a little run in the park. But first of all, I told him we got to do the daily bites first. So because of the time change, he's kind of messed up with the time. So I told him I'd get started with the daily bites a little bit early today. But here, let me put him down, and I'll get going, and we'll get a few minutes together, and we'll be able to take him to the park. Come on, Tony. Come on down. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. All right. He may be coming underneath my feet in just a couple of minutes. So great to be with all of you today. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me this morning. Lots to talk about. We got a big week coming up here. We have an election coming up tomorrow. All day tomorrow. We'll have all the seats in Congress coming up for grabs. I believe a third of the Senate is coming up for grabs. And of course, the big one, big prize tomorrow is the presidential seat, the election of either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. So we'll see what happens after that. So as it is right now, the S&P futures are up a little bit. They were up quite a bit earlier this morning, sold off some and came back now. Nasdaq up about 20 points. What we're seeing here, though, is volatility is starting to rise, and that makes sense, right? Because what does the stock market not like? Stock market doesn't like uncertainty. So the uncertainty over who's going to win this presidential election and how that's going to play out and craft economic policy over the next 4 years is playing out a little bit of worry, a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety right now. But as we know, elections, much like earnings reports, are events, right? They're 1 day, maybe 2 day events. This particular case, it's a 1 day event. So after tomorrow is over, the election is done, right? So what does the market have to worry about any longer? It's the uncertainty over the result that the market fear rises and volatility rises up, makes you pay up more money for uncertainty. So once the election results are known and the election is over, there's no more uncertainty. We have certainty. We know who's going to be the president. And mind you, some people will be disappointed and unhappy, and others will be happy and satisfied. That's not going to play out in volatility. It's the uncertainty that plays out more. So we also have another event happening this week. And of course, that's the Fed meeting. It starts on Wednesday. It will conclude on Thursday with another policy decision. This is the 7th meeting of 2024. We have one more meeting coming up in December. And by and large, the market is expecting a rate cut coming this week on Thursday, the 7th. So we know that the jobs report last week came in quite a bit lighter than expected. There were reasons for that. So we think that maybe in the November report, which comes out in early December, is going to make up for some of the shortfalls that we saw last week. But I think some economists out there believe that this report last Friday was actually a good report for the Fed. And indeed, the rate cutting vigilantes who want to see rate cuts be done a little bit more aggressively at the end of this year and into 2025 are pressing their bets again one more time. So the market is actually, again, looking at about a 98% chance of a rate cut this week. There's actually a very slim chance of a double rate cut on Thursday. So when you pair that together, it's actually about 100% chance of a rate cut on Thursday. The market expectations are showing that. Now for December, showing about an 80% chance of a rate cut in December. I think that one is probably on the table. That one is going to be discussed at length at this meeting, and we'll find out those meeting minutes in about 3 weeks. But I think that this December rate cut, I think, is going to be discussed, especially if the jobs market rebounds for November, which is going to come out the first Friday of December. So lots to discuss there. We also have a very, very large calendar of earnings this week. So some of the names that we saw last week, some did well, like Amazon and Google. Others didn't do so hot, like Microsoft and Meta. They pulled back a little bit, and even Apple pulled back a bit. as well too. So those are the big names that we were reporting last week. Other names though did very, very well. And so this week we have a big slate of earnings, and I think some of these names are going to be familiar to you, others not so much. I think a name like Fabrinet FN that is reporting later on today is one that I've got on my radar screen. I did pretty well with that one last quarter. I think when, in my experience, when a company comes out and beats and does maybe raises, there's a three quarters in a row of good earnings, and then they stall out. So this one would be like the first one. This is not rocket science. This is nothing guaranteed. This is just my experience that happens a lot of times, not every single time, right? So if I'm not involved in it, then I don't have a chance to make money on this particular type of trade. But Duolingo is another one I'm taking a look at, DUOL, which has got a really huge high rating. The stock is looking very, very strong. AppLovin, APP. Surprisingly enough, this is a stock that's owned by Warren Buffett, APP. They report earnings later on this week as well, too. I believe that's on Wednesday, along with Duolingo. You got names like Melly, you got Vertex, which is a pretty volatile name, which looks like it's probably going to make a run higher. Another name that I like here this week is Block, SQ, former Square, also the Trade Desk, which has got a high rating as well. And looks like they're going to make a run towards 130. Ferrari Race, RACE, which is a stock that I've owned for a very long time, is reporting their earnings also on Wednesday. You got names like ARM Holdings, which is a stock that I like, which I've had for quite a while. We have it in our service. We've had it in our service. We have it in the spread trader service, the one that Sam runs. Affirm, AFRM, is going to be reporting earnings on Thursday night. They had a really strong earnings report last time around, and I think that this one's going to keep that momentum going for the next couple of quarters. Take a look at that one. Also, Pinterest, PINS, is reporting on Thursday night. Qualcomm, chart doesn't look all that great, but they're reporting on Wednesday night. It's been building a nice flat base. I put a chart out there this week, actually this morning, out on the Street Pro portfolio. Take a look at that one if you're a member of that club. Look, some other names like reporting tonight are like WIN, WYNN, and NXPI, which is a competitor of Qualcomm, and some other semiconductor names is going to be reporting. Palantir, they'll be reporting tonight after the close. This is a stock that's been a big fan of a lot of traders for the past couple of months. Stock has more than doubled over the past 4 months, and it looks very, very strong. So lots to work with this week, right? And it's not just, you don't have to just step back and do nothing. You do want to be a little bit cautious. You do want to have some puts on. You do want to have a lot of cash available in case the market gets kind of wonky from this election. And again, the volatility is elevated here in anticipation of that. Now, again, once the volatility subsides, once the volatility futures are down, next week we will see it. It'll be a completely different story. So I want to show you this chart here. I'm going to show this to the chat room last week. And this is the VIX term structure on VIX Central. And you can see the big bump in volatility in November again, people have been buying into this for the past year or so, expecting some chaos and insanity following the election. So, but what did we learn over the last two elections in 2020 and 2016? That we saw the same bump in volatility leading into the election, and it was sold down right after the election was over. And what ends up happening when volatility starts coming down? The turnaround buy is the ES futures, or U.S. equity futures. And we did see a big bump up in buying into the end of the year in 2016 and in 2020. And don't forget, 2017 was a great year for the stock market. Every single month, the stock market was up in 2017. 2020 also, 2021 was also a pretty good year, but of course that was COVID. But 2022 not so good. So anyway, we'll be watching that. I want to show you a couple of the charts as well too. This is the what's called the NYMOT. This is the New York McClellan oscillator. traditional, and you can see how low it is right now. This is the NYSE McClellan oscillator. We're down in the minus 160s, pretty oversold. It could get more oversold, but more recently, when we've gotten to this area of minus 150 to 200, it's been a good spot where the market has turned around and rallied off of those low levels. After that, listen, you know what? We had the end of the month. We didn't talk about that last week because Thursday was Halloween. Let's talk about the end of the month, the monthly chart of the S&P 500. And you can see here, still in bull mode, right? MACD is still positive. The black line is still above the red line, still positive, still moving upwards. And again, we got that crossover way back in 2023. And we've been in bull mode ever since, right? So we just had a little bit of a dip late last year in September and October, but then it rallied right back in November, December, and we've been up every single month except for April, and I believe, is that right? So let's see here. I'm trying to remember. We got S&P 500. So last month we were up slightly last month. So the quarter we were down 0.4. Actually, no, we were down for the month of October. 0.49 was that horrible day on Thursday last week on Halloween. So first down month since April, but actually after 10 months, pretty good, right? 2 down months in 10 versus 8 up months. It was pretty strong. So I think it's going to be it, everyone. Have a great trading day. Again, keep some protection on. Keep your cash levels high. If you've got some gains and stuff, great. Take something off the table. Move your money around. This is an active traders market right now. So active trading is going to probably do much better than passive trading. So take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. And a name like Viking Therapeutics, which came out with some really great data over the weekend, was up a lot, and people sold some of it off. It's down. It was up to 90 this morning. It's only down up to 77. It's up $5 here. This could be a great opportunity for you to get in there on some great data. The stock pulled back a little bit, may get back up to towards $100 where it was earlier this year. So something to take a look at. Again, you want to be picky and choosy and find the right opportunities for yourself. So have a great day, everyone. I appreciate everyone spending a little time with me. And I'll see you guys all on Thursday morning. Probably going to be talking a little bit more about the election and the results and how that transpired, and some more earnings and so forth, and probably give a little bit of more of a preview of what's happening with the Fed meeting as well. So have a great day, trade well, and I'll see you guys all on Thursday morning. Take care. Bye.